Hi everyone and welcome to our second video in our Lego Minifig series, and in this video we are going to take a look at building this guy on screen, which of course is the famous Lego Minifig torso, or the body. So you can see the torso here. This is basically the 3D model that we're going to make. It's pretty straightforward, but basically it's a trapezium that we extrude. It's got a cylinder on top, and of course it's got some filleted edges, just rounded off edges on that top sort of face. So to help you with this, what we actually have is the drawing. So I'll just bring across the drawing here and we can have a little look at that. And we can see that in the front view, it basically looks like, as I said, a trapezium. We've got some dimensions. So for example, this line across the bottom is 15 millimeters. If I look at this horizontal line up here, we can see that that's 10 millimeters, and the distance between those two is 13 millimeters. If I wanted to get picky, I can also see that the angle is 79.11 degrees in here. And you know, there's a couple of things that I might look at here and go, okay, well, this is symmetrical if I kind of look at it like if I was to put a mirror through here. So I might just model up half of this and just mirror it across there. So that will give me that. What else have we got? Oh, okay. Of course, we need to make that into a surface, which like that, and then we can extrude it. How far do we extrude it? Well, if you have a look at the drawing, it actually tells us, because in the right side view over here, we can see the distance that it's extruded, and we can see that it's a total of 8 millimeters. Then, of course, there is this cylinder on top. Now, we can see that the diameter of that cylinder, or diameter of that circle, is a diameter of 4.8, and you can see it's got like a funny zero sign. It's not quite a normal zero, but it's like a circle with a cross through it, and that's the symbol that we know as being a diameter, of course, and I've said that to you before. So 4.8 millimeter diameter, and then we can see how far it's extruded in an upwards direction because we've got to have the 5 millimeters there. So let's get stuck into this. So let's do some simple math. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and we know that it's 13 millimeters up. So let's make a start on that. I'm going to start afresh here. I'm going to actually get rid of this guy. I'm just going to hit the delete key. We'll reset our 4 viewports. And here we are. So let's work in our front viewport. Of course, as always, make sure you've got grid snap turned on, you know, planar and all snap. I think we're all used to that by now. And what I'm going to do is use the polyline tool. The start of the polyline tool, I'm basically going to start it here. And half of 15 was 7.5. So we'll type 7.5 into our command line. And we have designated that line there as being 7.5. So I'll click there. And I'm just going to hit enter to finish my line. So there it is. 7.5. Now, if I come back and bring this drawing back in here, I can see that the height, or the distance between this line and this line, is in fact 13 millimeters. So let's do that. Let's draw a reference line 13 millimeters long. So I'm going to hit polyline. I'm actually going to start here and type in 13, and I'm going to lock that in just there, and I'm then just going to hit enter. So we now have a line that's 13 millimeters. Easy peasy. Now, you might also remember that this distance here is 5 millimeters. So let's do that. We'll move that back over there. And we'll go with the polyline and 5 millimeters. We'll hold shift to make that horizontal. And then whilst I'm still connected, let's connect that down to the bottom. Awesome. Now, let's get rid of this line here. We'll hit the delete key. Let's check out what we've got. Okay, we've got those two joined together, but this one is not. So let's drag a box around those, and we'll join them together with, you guessed it, the join button or join tool, which looks like the puzzle piece there. All right, so that's our first step. If you want right now, you can pause the video before we actually mirror it. I'll give you a moment to think about that. Okay, we're back. Let's continue. We're now going to mirror this piece here. So we'll type in the command line the mirror command. There it is. Hit enter. And it selects the object to mirror, so we'll make sure we've got that selected and we'll press enter there. And now it asks us to put our mirror plane in. So I'm going to click there at the top and there at the bottom. And I now have two pieces, and guess what? We're going to join them together with the join tool. All right, so you might just want to do that and hit pause. Okay, now we're back. All right, so what have we got to do? Let's have a look at the drawing. We've created this geometry here. We now need to make this a surface, and we're going to extrude it a total of 8 millimeters, as you can see in the drawing. So let's do that. We're going to need to build a surface. So we'll select this object. We're going to go up to surface, and we're going to come down to planar curves. Okay, we've got that there. And what we're going to do now is delete the original curve, which is the yellow part that's currently selected. So I'll hit delete. Now in my view over here, it should show a crosshair. You know what I'm talking about. I'm working in a newer version, don't forget, so that's why it doesn't show it. All right, so let's select that, and we're going to go to solid and extrude surface straight. Okay, and we're going to extrude that a total of 8 millimeters. So let's hit 8 there. Hey presto. There's the original surface, which I don't need. We'll hit delete. And what we'll do now is we'll work on the cylindrical feature, which is the part that they use to attach the head, which is this guy. So it's centrally located. If it doesn't provide you with any dimensions as to where to place it, the assumption is always that it is centrally located, i.e. in the middle. Diameter 4.8, extrusion 5. So let's go with that. Okay, so I'm just going to enlarge my top viewport, and we're going to work with a circle, and I'm going to find the center. The center is there. You can kind of see that's nice and easy. And I'm just going to pull out here. Now make sure yours is set to diameter. If it's set to radius, you're going to need to hit the D key and press enter to switch it to diameter. And I'm going to type in again 4.8. There it is. All right, let's go back to our 4 viewports. Where is this guy? Now this is interesting. It's down on the ground plane here. So if we hold our shift key, we can move this up to its position that it needs to be in. Now, whilst we're here now, we now need to make this into a surface. So we'll go surface, planar curves. Okay, whilst this is highlighted, we'll hit delete. And now we can select the surface here. And we're now going to extrude that a total of, what was it again? Let's have a look. 5 millimeters here. So we're going to go upwards 5 millimeters. Okay, so we'll go solid, extrude surface, straight, and we're pulling this up. We're going to type 5 into our command line, hit enter. Hey presto, I don't need this surface which is currently highlighted, so we'll hit delete on that. But what we'll do at the moment, if we actually click on the body, we'll see we have a body here and we have this cylinder. So what we would like to do with those is to union those two items together so they are actually become one. So I've selected those two objects. I'm going to go over to my tools and I'm going to find these two spheres here. It's called a Boolean union. So if we click on that, that will bake those two parts together. And we'll now find when we click on it, it just acts as one. Okay, one more job to do. If you want to pause, you can pause now. Great, you're back. Let's continue. As I said, one more job. This is the job. We need to look at the drawing here and we can see that there is a note that the fillet is to be applied to the edges. That's these two top edges. We can see it's a radius of 0.75 millimeters. Easy peasy. Let's get that done. In the command line, we're going to type fillet edge. We're going to come down. There it is, fillet edge. And we're going to type in the next radius here, or the radius value is 0.75, and hit enter to lock that in. And you're going to select the two edges, those two upper edges. And I'm just going to zoom in so you can kind of see that. And I'm going to hit enter to confirm. Yes, that's what I want to do, and I'm going to hit enter again to accept, and there it is. So that is our torso that we're going to use as our Lego minifig body, as it were. So let's save that. Let's go to File, Save, and I've already saved this, so you can actually see it says Lego Torso here, but you're going to go and name that Lego Torso. And once you've done that, job done, great work, and I'll see you in video 3.